are live. Hell of a Show is live yet again on Monday night, getting ready to do this. If you're in the audience and you can see and hear me, I'd certainly appreciate y'all letting me know that you can do so. As much as I enjoy talking to myself throughout the day at times, I don't want to do it during the show all the entire time. I'd like to go ahead and know that I'm actually reaching out to some people out there. So go ahead and let me know if you can see and hear me in the comments. I'd appreciate that. Let's get those shares out there and get ready to have a hell of a time on here tonight. Hell of a Show is all about the panel shows on here, and we've got a great one set up for you tonight. Get ready for this. So as soon as we know you can see and hear me, we will move forward with this and make sure that everything is up and running correctly. Before then, if you can hear me, hope you all had a great Monday, even though Mondays can be, kind of bad as far as the beginning of the week and everything. It's still a lot of fun. You can be very productive if you want to, if you choose to be, or if you just fall into it accidentally, however it is. But have some fun with that. But we are going to go ahead and get ready to do this and have some fun on this. So let me go ahead and start bringing out some guests, because I can't be the only pretty one out here right now. This can't be the only thing that you're going to see. It doesn't get this bad. The show is actually a little more upscale than that. So we're going to bring out one of my guests right now. Let's go ahead and bring out the Todd father here.
Hey, what's up, Demon Phil? How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, Todd father. We're going to bring up some other guests on here and go around and start introducing people as we're going around. Let's see who's not paying attention, who's picking their nose, who's not paying attention. Let's see. Let's go ahead and let's bring Jonathan Hedrick up here.
Yes.
Not picking my nose.
There you go. I almost caught you. I always try. I'm getting closer and closer. I will catch you one of these times. Let's see. We got. Let's go ahead and bring up Christie. Shinn is here.
There she is.
What's up, Christie? And then to round it out, we have got Timothy B. Fling is back with us again, being on the panel this time and not just on a one-on-one. So this is going to get interesting.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
Hey, my pleasure, my pleasure. So, and we got our first one up here, Tim Ingram, saying, hey, yo, I appreciate you being here, Tim.
What's up,
So
Tim?
before we get started into all the shenanigans, because I have a feeling that it's going to be running amok in here very shortly, let's go ahead and go around here and get to know some people. Todd father, let us know who you are, what you do, where to find you, and we're going to go around and meet around to Timothy, winding this up.
My name's Bret Todd, spelled with one T, but they also call me the Todd Father. I'm with Comic Fanzine. We're on every Wednesday night, rain or shine. We're on 8:15 Central Standard Time. We're on. We do a show kind of like Demon Feels. We bring in a lot of artists, a lot of writers. We do shit shows where we have people just come in and gripe and complain. But it's all about the comic industry, about the artists, about the writers, and just a little bit about everything. And I've been collecting for about 35 years. I'm friends with a whole host of artists and a whole host of writers. And me and my group over there, I think we do a fine show. I really do appreciate the fan base too, and I want to thank Phil for bringing me out here and having me with these wonderful guests. Out of all the nights to have me on, this is a great opportunity to meet some fresh faces, seen the art, seen the stuff that everybody does, but just to be here.
Awesome. Now, Jonathan, I know people know who you are and everything, but go ahead and let them know again, because you know what? It's been 3 years since I've had you on here, so we need to get caught up on this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Phil. I'm glad to be here. My name's Jonathan Hedrick, and you can find me at jonathanhedrickcomics.com. That's my main hub, but I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and yeah, I'm an independent comic book writer. I have a few titles out there in the comic book shops, so yeah, just grateful to be here right now to talk with everyone.
Awesome. Christie, you were up. Go ahead and let them know who you are, what you do, and where to find you over there as well.
Oh, yeah. My name is Christie Shinn, also known as Demon Bitch, like my character, even though I'm nothing like my character, but it is funny. What it is that I run Horror Tour Studios. I have Sepulcher, and I have many other comics. Let's see here. Sorry if I'm a little bit off. I just came back from WonderCon. I am tired and I'm knackered. So it is sheer medication and Theraflu that I am up right now. But here it is. It's a Demon Bitch, my character. She's a Wednesday web comic. You can find her on my links on my link tree. And I have a store. So I will personalize all the shit that you buy from me.
And I have that book. So I'm telling you right now, y'all need to get that one. We will talk about that too. But we got someone else we want to introduce on here. Timothy, go ahead and let us know who you are, what you do, and where to find you as well.
My name's Timothy Fling. I'm a writer and creator from York, Pennsylvania. Got a new book coming out. This is what I'm doing, and I'm in the pre-launch mode for Call of the Cryptid. It's a cryptid-based science fiction series,
Nice.
what we're calling a visual adventure. Looking forward to it. Kind of a new thing for me. This is the new title, so I'm not real sure how that's going to go. But I'm also in the very tail end, actually the last day of fulfillment for Water Wars Volume 4. And I got the chrome-plated covers.
Oh,
Ooh, that looks good.
Water Wars is awesome. I love that book. And that
Thanks,
right
man,
there,
thanks.
I've got to have that in my collection. That what you just showed and these other books I've been looking at. All you guys, that book, that is awesome.
I'm a comic collector too, and we made this goes with it if you order it. It's the Organic Civilian ID badge, and that's a chrome-plated. It looks like it's like a futuristic driver's license.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
See that? And of course,
Bring
it
a
has
full
the-
screen on
Oh,
there.
there you
Extra.
go, there
We
you
like
go,
that.
man.
there you go.
Yeah, see, and it's got your DNA matching and this kind of thing, and it's on printable foil. If you can kind of see it, it's like a shiny thing, and it's got the logo on the back.
That is awesome.
Oh, that's
Nice.
beautiful.
Yeah. So, but now I'm in the very end of that. You see, and of course I like to hear everyone's opinions, but I'm a comic collector myself, so I do like the collectibles that come with the book.
Awesome.
Nice.
Now, one thing that I want to do a little bit different with this show, because I try to do things and keep it, fresh and new and do some new things on there and things. Everyone that I have on here tonight, I have had where I've had first dealings with each one of y'all, and it usually has something to do with your work that you've done or some way that we've connected in some way, and then we've just stayed connected throughout the years, which has been amazing that that's even happened with that. But we're going to kind of talk about some of the beginnings in getting into this. I know I've asked the question before of what's the origin story and what's one of your first things you worked on. I can honestly say that I've kind of dealt with some of y'all on some of your first things, which is awesome because we can kind of lead from that moving on. And I want to start off with Christie on this one, simply because I'm going to give myself full screen real quick because I actually have a piece of work, and don't try to buy this because this is mine and no one else has it. But this was actually done for me on a show years back. So let me give myself full screen on this one. Oh, let me get over here.
Let me put my glasses on since you're going full
The ways
screen.
of technology.
Oh, yeah, that's she. Yeah, Christie did that.
So
for
you see that at the beginning of the video, right? So
Yes,
that's
sir.
on my intro video. However, there is a much better one that is not seen nearly as much because I never really showed it off that much. Christie, you may remember the one episode of Unscripted that is the most watched of all the episodes we ever had. And that was where I got myself drawn with boobs by a whole bunch of artists on there. And that is the first one by Christie Shinn right there. And I must say, I am a hot one with boobs. I just got to throw that out there right now. She really kind of brought that out on me there.
I think I think you're clothed too much. I'd like to see the full. You know what I mean?
No, you don't.
I think I drew him with like 3 tits too at some point.
There is that one too. Yes, I do have that one that's actually packed away. I was looking for some of the books and some of the other stuff around that I have of y'all stuff, and this is actually on my shelf that I show off all the time. So anybody who comes over to the place and sees the studio, when they walk in, that's one of the first things they see, and it's turned around with the one with Demon Phil with boobs, and they're kind of like, so what's the significance of that one? And when I tell them the story, they just really laugh about that. Oh, see, it's unanimous now. Chelsea says I'm a knockout. There you go.
There you go.
No, I think when she's seen the size of those jugs, she was saying, "Don't knock yourself out."
That could have been it too. There was no jogging done in that rendition of me. I can tell you that right now.
Or they could be going like, bitch.
Yeah. Yes.
But I mean, we had a lot of fun in getting to know each other throughout the years on different things that have been out there. Christie and I, we connected a lot through Unscripted whenever I had that show going on there. And there were a lot of times where it was laughing to the point of tears on there and going through some things. Yeah, and she agrees. She said, yeah, that too, Bret.
Yes.
Like, bitch.
Yeah. Bitch.
So while we're talking, I'm going to show some of your artwork in the background while I kind of talk to you about some things as well, Christie. And you're the first one up, so I'm going to show yours on here with the magic of technology. So it looks like we're actually watching this in like Mystery Science Theater 3000, except we're not going to make fun of it while we go through. We're just going to be watching and kind of talking. But you have some amazing artwork. And what I wanted to showcase in this was one of the things is we know about Demon Bitch. We know about a lot of things you've done with that. This kind of surprised me because your range that's in there that you do, that's some awesome looking artwork on top of your regular IP. I wasn't even aware of that until I really started doing some research, and I've got to give you props on that because you did a damn good job on this.
Oh, thank you. I was kind of hard on myself because I don't really do comic covers like that. I rarely draw superheroes. It's not a thing that I do. You know, maybe if I did one more commonly, it would probably be Psylocke, but that's about it. But yeah, and now I just did Silk, you know, because I thought, oh, I found out she was Korean, and I'm like, oh, cool, that's cool. I'm Korean too. For me, I'm not like really happy with the background because I thought it was too bright, but I guess you guys like it though.
No,
Yeah,
it's
do.
awesome. I don't.
It looks great.
It's awesome, beautiful.
I love the way that looks. And then we've got a couple other ones we want to show, and then we're going to get into your IP as well. Your regular IP that you've got that everybody knows you for a lot more. But again, this is another piece that I saw on there that was just, it really caught my attention because this doesn't look like your regular style. So you definitely got more range out there than you've normally shown before that I've seen anyway. And I definitely want to say that you're doing a damn good job of doing that because not a lot of people can pull that off of having different ranges of style out there for the artwork.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I guess the reason why I do that is that sometimes I just get bored. So I just like do different characters in different styles. I mean, I think everybody has like a cartoon and sort of a realism type thing, but it was just like a character design that was popping around in my head about it. And when I read about about the voodoo religion and the Santeria religion, and I thought it was just kind of cool to come up with those two characters. I mean, they're not totally unique in the sense that that's supposed to be Santa Muerte. She's supposed to be Holy Death in Hispanic and Chicano culture, and also in Santeria. But then the other counterpart is Papa Legba, which is more Haitian voodoo. But his original form was Elegua, which is from the Yoruba tradition, which is, I think, in Kenya, I think West Kenya or something. My brain is fogged, so sorry, guys. I can't have the great recall right now.
You're doing fine. You're doing fine.
It is cool.
Now,
I just like to ask her. I mean, I know you research this stuff, but when you get kind of locked, you get vapor locked when you're doing certain books. You find yourself doodling these characters, and you come up and you think, "Hey, maybe I should go with this." Or how does this come about? Sometimes these other, because you're used to doing, like you said, now seeing the stuff you do now, your range is just awesome. But where do you come up with that concept? Are you sitting there doodling? You're thinking, yeah, maybe this will work, or how does it come about? Is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think I kind of fit the idea of a very bad artist. Like the idea of being an artist, you have to practice and draw everything all the time and blah blah blah. I really don't sit around with a sketchbook to draw. It's not that I never did. I just don't do that at the present moment right now. I don't know why, but sometimes I'll just sit at my monitor tablet because I do a lot of digitized art because there's ease of storage, ease of, print, and also just ease of editing because I do my comics digitally. Now people can go, well, they're not going to go and buy the original, but it's like I draw other shit. Like I do have artwork of it that I've actually drawn. So for me, sometimes I'll come up with a character, sometimes I'll draw it out, yes, but will it be an immediate story? No, not always. Like I'm kind of the bad creative in this way where I don't follow any pattern. Like it may lie fallow or just like kind of in my head for a while before I conjure up a story for that. But other than that, it's like, it depends on the character. Like with Demon Bitch and Personal Monsters, I did it because I was really pissed off. And then just like, I hated this one person. And somebody yelled Demon Bitch at one point, and I said, oh, fuck it, I'll just use it. So I just created this whole character of assholes, mostly women, that I've had to deal with. And what's even better is that when I go to cons, I've actually been accused of drawing people I know. And I think it's hilarious because I said, no, I ran into 4 or 5 of you already. You are not special. And they get even madder.
I love it.
Now, when I was going through and I was researching some of the other picks to get for you and everything, because I know you sent me some to use and everything, but I like to, think outside of the box again. One of them that was actually, this was actually in your list, by the way. So this is not me trying to be funny on this, but this was in your list. It kind of explains how we're going into the next segue here for the other stuff we're going to be showing. because this is not something you drew on here, but this is definitely a segue into what you're working on with some of the other stuff with Demon Bitch. Like you said, it's a fun one that you've had where you're able to go in and take your emotions out on certain people who have wronged you in the past or things like that, which I've got to give you kudos on that one, especially because I will say that with this that I am co-writing back here, Voices in the Dark, which will be my first book that's coming out, I'm having fun with that because anybody who's ticked me off in the past as writers, y'all all know that we can take care of them in all kinds of ways that have just you normally go to jail a lot of times for some of those things, but you can have a lot of fun with that in writing, especially in comics. And I just want to say thank you, Christie, because you actually gave me that idea, and a lot of people are going to be in my book, which can be nice.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, the thing is that like I just go ahead and it's funny because I conversely had a conversation with this friend, a friend of mine that was helping me out at WonderCon, and people were asking her like, "Oh, if Christy gets mad at you, you know, are you worried that you're going to be in her book?" She said, "Okay, first of all, if she was never mad at me, she never like would ever do that. Number one, number two, it's like if she actually did do that to me, I wasn't a good friend in the first place."
that's right.
Because like the thing is like for me, I mean, if I get pissed at people all the time. If I seriously drew every comic of every person that really pissed me off, I think it would just be, I think it would be a lot to keep up with. For me, it's actually just people or certain situations or things that stick out. Sometimes people have pissed me off, and I have also wondered, were they doing it to try to get immortalized? So that's also another reason why it's like it depends on what it is. I'm very selective of what I put in. It has to really just kind of hit me hardcore on that. So I'm just kind of like sort of laughing about it in a way too. So
Well, and
it's
one
like,
good thing about it too is it almost seems like the people who irritate us throughout, especially this industry and stuff like that, that they push us forward. They think that they're actually kind of stopping us or hindering us or anything like that. It's almost like lighting a fire underneath us to keep all of us moving forward. And I've seen that throughout the years, throughout a lot of the creatives that are out there, that instead of just giving things up, they're like, oh, you want to really go ahead and challenge me on this? Let's go ahead and really put the pedal to the metal. And I've seen that with your work, with the way that you've gone with that. And again, going back to the range that you're showing now with some of the things you got on there, you can definitely see where you're pushing yourself more and more on there, and it's paying off.
yeah,
Yes.
a lot of people have, thank you. I mean, a lot of people like my friend Lawrence from Real Deal Comics. He does Real Deal Comics, basically. Sorry, it's like my brain. But he's published with Fantagraphics, and he was telling me that he found it really awesome that like my anatomy has gotten really good. And I don't think about it. Like I used to do a fuck ton of life drawing back in the day, but they were quick gestures and sketches and all that. And yeah, that's Demon Bitch. That was made by Intu Ju. She is Korea Angry, and we did a collaboration for one Kickstarter.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
That is
I had to show that one.
yeah. Go back that other one. That one I wanted to kind of explain. So everybody's going about the AI shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of my friends, for shits and giggles, decided to put Demon Bitch in the AI just to see what would happen. Needless to say, it broke. So when people were really upset about the whole AI art thing, I said, I don't think that would ever happen with me because she just didn't know what the fuck to do with that shit.
That is all. I see. I didn't even catch that until you mentioned that, but you can definitely see where it just had no idea which way to go with that.
I think it really didn't know what the fuck to do. That means I guess it's really truly original. Now, again, I'm not trying to be like all shitting on other artists that, you know, I from what I've seen in AI, they just take certain streams of more mainstream art and just put more of the like styles together. And actually, I had to talk about that with a panel because some people were asking about that. And I said, well, it extrapolates stuff and puts it together in a more common thing. And I said, by no means am I saying these artists are exactly the same. But if you look at like Neil Adams, George Perez, and all that, they had a certain sort of base style that they had. But it doesn't mean, oh, they're different or they aren't different or it is what it is. Like Peach Momoko and Mirka Andolfo. I like those two artists right there. And, you know, I could see how AI art could be really weird because also they're especially really prolific too. So, and they made a lot of material. So I kind of don't worry about it. And I kind of am like, you know, in a way, because I've had some background with programming and things like that. I don't think it's as bad or apocalyptic as anybody makes it out to be.
That right there shows that AI art doesn't have anything on you because you drew the right amount of fingers on the hand. So
Yeah,
giving you props on that one.
Yeah.
That people laugh about that, but it's true. It's one of those things that AI art can't do some things on there. And to see your range on there, just to see the hand alone and to see the detail you put into that and everything the way you did. Yes, it's got a simplistic look to it, but it still looks good. It doesn't look like a Mickey Mouse paw or anything up there. Oh crap! I'm gonna get sued by Mickey Mouse now. Yeah.
No.
Okay, anyway, start
no,
that.
Well, I mean, as I said, it's like, I don't know. I just keep kind of forging ahead. I think that there's a lot of things that I've learned in life in general that a lot of people make noise. It's good to make note of it, but you really don't need to pay attention to a lot of it. Like, don't give it space. And I know people say that, and I kind of hate that said to me too, because it's like, don't give it space. Like, don't give it your energy. Don't give it your time. Don't do it. It's like, and those fuckers do the same exact shit. So I don't understand. But I think I've gotten to a point where it's like, well, that's stupid, and I disregard it. I mean, it doesn't mean that I heard it, and it doesn't mean that I didn't hear it
And
or I
sometimes
didn't feel anything. It just made me realize it was fucking stupid, and I didn't want to deal with it.
Phil, I'm to the point. We've had her on, and I love her to death. But for tonight, I want to piss her off because I want to be a character. I mean, I want to be one of her drawings because she's got it. They always talk about it. She's got it. I mean, she's got a range that is just cool as shit, man. It's cool. I love it. I love Demon Bitch. I think it's cool. We had her on our show when she was promoting, and I was like, yes, finally.
Bret, you can go ahead and say it. If you want to have the Todd father with boobs, she'll do it. I mean, if you want to have one that'll match up with Demon Phil with boobs, she'll make it happen.
I mean, I'm pretty easygoing. Like, as long as we talk it out and we have a schedule for the show, I totally do it.
No, we need to have you back on. We need to, have all you guys on, but have you back on and do that because from where we were at when I talked to you before, you've come a long ways. That's very, very rangy. I love it. I love to see that gaminess and that you still got it. Here you are back from a con, not feeling good, but you're giving it. You're right here.
Hey man, I'm the real deal. That's what Lauren
You are.
said.
That's what I like about you. There's nothing fake. I like it. It's all real.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, you mentioned about Bret just mentioned about we were talking about just coming from where you were before and then the evolution process you've gotten to now and how much change has gone in there and everything. The next one that I want to talk about is the creator of this one right here. Anybody who created this one, you raise your hand because I can't remember who this was exactly. Who did this? There we go.
That's Jonathan. I know that for for a fact.
And he knows I'm messing with him because this was the first time that I actually was introduced to his work was through this particular title here. And I wanted to bring that up because this actually got my attention because number one, a zombie book that is outside of the regular cookie cutter style. That got my attention for one thing.
Yes.
And then for he as a creator to take the time to explain it to me in chat and really build it up to me to the point where I was like, I can't breathe air unless I get, I have to get this one off the Kickstarter now. It has to happen. So he did a damn good job of doing that and explaining it and taking the time. So I definitely wanted to bring up that this is how I met you, Jonathan, of course, was through this particular time here. And I still have some of these actually that I have for sale as well, but I got your retailer pack. So I've still got some of these, which I am loving with some of your signatures on there, by the way. So how did you go from Freak Show Night all the way to where you are now? I mean, 3 years, it seems like a short amount of time or whatever, but you have been moving in 3 years. What was your point where you actually saw where you just took off and you just haven't landed since?
Well, I appreciate you saying all that, Phil, and thanks for backing that campaign. That was, I think it was maybe my second or third Kickstarter ever, that was a blast, and it eventually got picked up and published too. But I would say things started to get interesting when I signed the recount with Scout Comics, and it didn't really feel real until the Ash Can came out, and then people were scooping that up and asking me for copies. I was like, oh, people actually care about this 4-page ash can. And then the book hit in a very timely manner in the stores a week after election, day, and the book's called Recount. And then between issues 1 and 2, the stuff happened with January 6th, unfortunately. But even though it's completely different than what the book's about, people drew their own connections to it, which there's pros and cons with that. But it was I would say around that time when the Recount was actually in stores and people were digging it. I think I was holding my breath until then. So I really appreciate all that support.
Oh, absolutely. And Recount was, I mean, I don't even have the words for that one. It was one that came out of nowhere and just hit the right way. And you really grabbed a following quickly off of that one as well.
Yes.
But I want to go back to what we were talking about with Freak Show and getting started in all this, because this is actually one that, how did you come up with the idea for this and leading into what ended up being, it was a trilogy, correct?
Well, it's an expanded universe. But yeah, there's about 4 different titles out from the Freak Show universe with other writers too, which has been really cool to collaborate with multiple people now. But Freak Show Princess, that the first comic book I ever made, that one came from a short story I wrote a long time ago. Never intended it to be a comic book ever, but one day, I dusted it off and tried my hand at adapting it to a comic book script, and after.
Awesome. Oh, did we lose you?
Is he gone?
Yeah, I think he's
I can still hear you.
Oh,
It's okay.
I think I might be freezing off and on this side, but
there you go.
StreamYard's been doing this for about a month now, so just don't blame yourself.
Okay, it could be the internet at my place too. Who knows? But yeah, Freak Show Princess. I'm super proud of that one. That was the very first one, and it's near and dear to my heart.
Awesome. Now, of course, you brought up about Recount. One thing that I wanted to bring up as I was going through your stuff on here is I came across some other things in your photos that are in there. Number one, you are a huge family man, which I love that about the creatives and learning about what drives their passion and all. And you have a ton of memories with your family in dealing with the comics and everything as well. So you've got them all involved in there, which I've got to tell you, that's massive respect coming from me on that one, because
thank you.
Sometimes you have to separate, work and home, and you're able to go ahead and have both of them running together. So you're absolutely loving what you're doing on that.
Yeah.
But I saw this, and the Comic Book Fiend Club is a huge thing, because this is an example of what happens whenever you get organizations together that get a louder voice within the indies. And this is one place that is definitely working on doing that. I was actually a member of this whenever I was in Jersey. I need to get back into it now that I'm here in Tennessee. It'd be a different chapter, but I need to get involved in that. But this is something that is huge, because it not only deals with people, finding books to collect and things like that, but they actually have a lot of things they do for charities and things as well. Have they reached out to you and had you do anything for their charities, or have you had the opportunity to do that yet?
Well, several times, and they have not necessarily reached out to me. I volunteered. Like right now, we have the Fiend Club has a muscular sclerosis drive right now, and I donated a slab comic book for that, and as well as pitched into the raffles. And so I love the club. I was got in last year, and it's been a great part of just elevating the community of collecting comic books, reading comics, taking it to a whole nother level, and just having that support and people that you can chat with. When I was a kid in high school, there was like maybe 5 kids that collected comic books that would actually admit it, and among those 5, they weren't collecting and reading the way I I was, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
They might have known Wolverine's origin, and that's about it. But
Exactly.
they weren't naming off creators' names and the issue numbers and all the mythos. So it's nice to have a community where you can share your love and passion like this and do good for other communities as well.
I agree.
Now, in bringing up about the recount, of course, we have this one here for the preamble on here.
Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful cover on here. And again, to go ahead and bust that myth, because I love doing this on every show. Contrary to popular belief, Caesar, if you go ahead and you open these things up, there's more artwork and even story and words that make sense and actually make it more of an enjoyable experience than just the outside.
That's right.
Everyone knows I mess with Caesar. I've had him on as a guest before. We do that on purpose. Everyone that does that in the audience as well. Todd Father even does it himself. We have fun with it, but everyone knows it's in fun. It's not, we're not messing with it.
Exactly right.
Yeah, it's all in fun. But I wanted to bring up, this is a gorgeous cover, but the story itself, like I said, it's so much involved in it, and it can go on for, I don't know how long you plan on taking this thing. I mean, do you have an idea in sight, of how long you want to run this thing, or how many series?
Well, I'm working on volume 2 right now, and I'm planning on 3 volumes total. I really don't want to push it beyond that because I think it could get watered down pretty quickly. But yeah, and each volume is its own kind of story too. It's not like it's each volume one-upping each other like a Fast and Furious movie, and next thing you know, they're racing cars in outer space. It's it has similar tones, but a different story, different plot in the same, with similar characters.
Yeah, there's 2 things we don't talk about as far as movies on here to start fights, and that's Fast and the Furious and Star Wars. Those 2 right there will start fights, right?
Yeah,
Fighting words.
right.
No, but this cover speaks to me. But he was talking about Caesar. There's a few of us on there, and I think it might be Caesar that doesn't like what they call the homage covers. I do. With this, you've got one of the y'all have it as Amazing Spider-Man 129, the Punisher. That cover. Now this cover I love too, but the homage, or however you say it, to the Amazing Spider-Man 129. That one, I've seen some done, but that was just killer. That was one of the best looking books I've ever seen. That's the one. I've got a few of these. That's the one I don't own, and I'm gonna get my hands on it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've been really blessed with a lot of talented artists out there that have graced the variant covers and main covers like this one that Ruben Gill, the interior artist, did on this one. Just super fortunate to be able to have so much talent work on the books that I wrote.
And you're speaking about talent and some great artwork and something that's different that people want to get a hold of. I got to show this off because this really caught my attention on your thing too. You got to talk about this. I mean, there's a pop off of this thing right now that looks flipping awesome. I don't collect pops, but I got to have this thing. Let us know, what is this off of? What's the storyline behind this, and how did you come up with making a pop off of this?
So this is a custom Funko that I had made from someone's Etsy store of the character I write called Dream Master from Black Box Comics. It's not that's since this picture, it's been updated. My very talented wife painted it to make it look more like the actual comic book. I was like, I want to have a cool little, talking point on my tables and promote Dream Master a little more. And if a Funko catches someone's eye and I can talk to them a little bit more about Dream Master, I think that'd be a good opportunity. So I had one made, and it turned out pretty cool, with the need of it to be updated with the coloring too.
Oh, I mean, it turned out awesome. I mean, I love the way it looks. And if your wife did the artwork on there as far as making it pop with more color and stuff like that, then
because in the comic book he has like a very galaxy type look to where all this white is on this Funko, which the Etsy store owner neglected to add. So now it looks so much more like the actual character.
Awesome.
So it's really cool.
She's very talented.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell you that I when he brought that in, when we popped it up, I thought it was a Funko.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really talented people out there that that's what they do on their Etsy store. They'll make you send them enough photos and they'll make it for you, and it's a cool little tchotchke to have on your table or just something to collect. If they don't already make a Funko of something, have one made.
Exactly. Now I wanted to bring up that, of course, some of the titles that you've worked on are some of them that we show right here that are on your page that you've dealt with as well. Caffeinated Hearts is another big one that I know is a great one to get into.
Thank you.
Have not gotten into the other two on there. Recount and Caffeinated Hearts I personally have read into. The other ones I have not. I definitely want to look into that. But I wanted to talk about one other one that you got on here. This is another one that caught my attention that I definitely jumped on board as soon as I saw what it was, and that is Capable.
Yes.
This one hit me in a sideways position on this one because this one was out of nowhere. There's a lot of superhero books. There's a lot of things where they may have an inability or something like that. But this is talking about taking somebody who has some kind of disorder in there that is actually reversed almost. I don't want to give away too much on here. Actually, I'll let you do it, Jonathan, so you won't yell at me too much. I don't want to get the spoilers. But if you want to talk about exactly what Capable is so they know, because you're actually up to issue 5 of this, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. So the elevator pitch for Capable is it's set in a world where out of the blue, one day, people with disabilities start to gain superpowers that are opposite of what their handicap is. And we follow the main character here, Derek Davidson, who was in a wheelchair for most of his life, then all of a sudden is a speedster, and how quickly his life has to adapt to this world where some people aren't doing the right things with their newfound powers. So I've crowdfunded up to issue 5 out of the 7 that are planned, and it did get picked up by a publisher recently, Advent Comics.
Yep.
So it's available for pre-order now at your local comic book store, and it's going to be the Advent Comics version is going to be out in May.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
Do not sleep on this one, y'all. I'm telling you right now, like I said, there's different books out there that they get your attention and everything, but this one actually takes a subject that a lot of people they don't pay attention to that much. They kind of look at it like, okay, it's a hindrance. I don't know how to write about it. I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to make people feel too sorry for the character or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do that with this. I mean, with this character, you actually get to the point where you start feeling as he would in the situation. It's actually a transference of you're no longer reading the book. You're actually sitting in that wheelchair. And I got to tell you right now, that is awesome that you were able to do that and convey that through there.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, my editor, she's she identifies as someone in the people with disabilities community. She's been a big help, checking to make sure it's not overtly offensive or inaccurate. I've had people in the PWD community as beta readers. So I've from day one said that this is not a book where I'm pandering to that community. Mm-hmm. It's my interpretation in this fictional concept of what things might just be like in this particular story.
Sure.
Exactly. I mean, you've got awesome work in here. As you can tell, we've been going through here. Everybody that's watching this now will be watching this later on. That Jonathan's not bored by any means. I mean, he's got some work keeping him kind of busy over there. But you can tell that he's doing something that he absolutely loves and is continuing to do so. Don't miss out on the stuff that he's got out there as well. I mean, we've already talked about, Christie stuff on there. We've now talked about Jonathan's. Bret, I'm going to save you for last because I know you're watching and just absorbing everything from all these. You're like me as far as being on the shows, and you sit back and you absorb as much as you can. So Tiffany, we're going to talk about yours now. With yours, I actually want to start off with something else very quickly to go ahead and bring it. Not one to take the spotlight from and to hold itself only. So I definitely want to show that I'm not the only one with a show out there. There is a Holden's 11. And this is one of my favorite tags that you got on there. The 10% less bug feces. I've tried.
We're working on our slogans.
I know. I've tried to get to 15% on mine. You have me beat now, so I got to put yours up there. It's got to happen.
Got to have a
but
goal. Got to
let
have a
us
goal
know-
to strive for.
Exactly. I mean, let us know what is Holden's 11 and what goes on over there, and then we're going to talk about you as a creative with your books and everything. But it's very cool to me that you have this that you're dealing with as well with Holden's 11 because it ties directly with what you're doing as well.
Well, thanks for saying. And what we wanted to do, like the first thing, Phil knows a little bit of this, which I'm trying some different things this year. And, a couple of y'all in the group, I know, Ian, we're all trying to find some kind of niche to get our self-promotion and our marketing out there. I don't have any kind of designation or any kind of illusion that I want to be this YouTube host, right? I don't even think I'd be particularly that good at it. But what you do sometimes accidentally find is you sort of back into an audience. And in my case, it would be people's whose tastes overlapped with mine in matters of science fiction, movies, comics, card making, all the things that, the nerdy types of people enjoy. So essentially what we do is we pick a topic, and it's a topic that can be anything from pop culture. We just finished apocalyptic movies, and we also just did the top 11 Broadway musicals. I did that with Travis Gibbs. So you see a lot of weird lists. But the idea is the creative comes on the air and talks about some of the things that they are passionate about. And the idea is there's not really any wrong answers. It's just you just have to really love it and to be enthusiastic about it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I want to bring up that you mentioned about bringing creatives on there because that means a lot to me because it's the people that you interact with, that you network with, like on shows like Right Now Tonight and everything. You may actually reach out to Bret and say, hey, Todd Father, I'd love to have you come on at some point and we can discuss some things on there because you reach out and give everyone a chance. You said as long as they're on there and they're energetic and they're upbeat and they're ready to talk about some things and have some fun.
Always looking for enthusiastic people that have an ability to sort of gas on about whatever topic they would like to discuss on the air.
Yes,
and by the way, Christie knows some of these people too. I'm also involved now with this. And again, Phil, I got to tell you, these things happen to me accidentally, right? Like I'm not really the guy who says I'm going to do this. But what happened was I started doing the Holden's 11 show in an effort to generate customers for my Kickstarter campaigns. But then people sort of like that, right? So then now we're doing a Thursday night show where we interview creatives, and that's more things like how did you come up with the characters? What kind of process did you use? A little bit more what I would consider technical questions for creators, in which you would say things like, well, if a person that was just starting out might want to try this, or maybe it's something about networking. But we usually have 3 on that show.
Awesome. And let me see. I brought it up here briefly, but this is the other half or part of the half of the quarter of the, I don't know how many pie pieces y'all got over there on the show, but part of Comic Fanzine that I'm representing. And then he comes on and says something like this.
Yeah, I'm crying. Look at me. I'm just.
It just come back. Yeah, he says the main half. Dale, you're over half. I'm just going to put it
out there. When he says the main half, you just have to understand he is the main half plus. It is a lot.
Oh, my gosh. We could have a whole show talking about that. I need to get y'all on here anyway. But, Dale never gets his schedule right to get on here. I don't know what it is about that, but I don't know. But, Timothy, you've actually got.
Yes.
You working. You haven't been,
we make a lot of books now. Right. It's something, again, these things happened accidentally, right? Just a reminder, I'm the writer. I didn't set out to become publisher guy or Kickstarter guy, but that kind of is accidentally what happened. And so this is number 6 that we're getting ready to go into right now. And it is for a new title, which, one of the things is if you're a publisher, you got to branch out into some other titles and see what might stick. And this one is a cryptid-based visual adventure called Call of the Cryptid. And it is essentially a supernatural, paranormal, X-Files meets The Matrix, female protagonist, high school. It's got elements of heavy metal. It's got a little bit of a flavor of what I sometimes call a prestige format graphic novel. What I mean by that, during the late 80s and early 90s, there was a line from DC called Vertigo, and they would put out sort of lushly illustrated and often sort of hand painted looking books. These would be things along the lines of the Dave McKean books or the Neil Gaiman books, or of course Grant Morrison was sort of pretty big around those times too. So if you'd like that kind of material, you would probably like Call of the Cryptid. I promise you, it's going to be weird. And each issue always has what we call a twist. Whatever you might think about the cryptid is always a little bit of a reimagining. I'll give away the first one, of course, our Bigfoot. Oh, wait, let me make a quick comment here. The promotion we got going on is 12 Days of Cryptid, which is 12 days of original cryptid art being posted across social media. You're going to see on Facebook, Instagram. I do TikTok now as well. Like I was saying earlier, we're trying to find things that are, again, some different angle. And, you get a lot more views going through TikTok. You would hope that you do. There's one by Derek Stevens. He's going to be part of our trading card set. And some of what you're seeing here is also just concept art as well. But you see some of the pieces do have sort of like a painted look, right? And that's kind of what we're going for. And it's also sort of like a what I would call a trippy visual experience. Like there's things like, dreamlike sequences, shattering panels, long, weird chase sequences, things like that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Call of the Cryptid's going to have, because there's so many different elements that you're showing off in there, and some of the ways that you're explaining it is just enough where it's like, okay, the carrot is dangling right in front of me. I need to grab this thing and go. You're not giving me just enough.
Yeah, we got to pull this. You got to pull all this together, man. You got a lot of elements hanging out there in the internet land. What you're seeing right there, this is a trading card design. This is card 0, which you can only get by backing in the first 96 hours. That's why it's actually not part of the set. It's an early bird thing only. And what it is, it's a chrome separation by which one layer is ink and the top layer is chrome, so that when you look at it, it's going to look like the alien is emerging out of a mirror a little bit.
Nice.
And when you tilt it, you see what it is. It's a highly reflective surface, so that when you tilt it, there'll be a slogan etched into, like it was etched into a mirror, is what it'll look like. And the slogan says, "You will not remember this encounter."
Nice. I really like how you've got that set up on there. And again, it's too bad that Caesar's not here right now, because we actually have an open book here. I wanted to show this off because this shows you right here, Caesar, you can actually open these things up. But Water Wars is my first introduction to Timothy, and I was hooked on that series. Bret's the same way, yeah.
Mine too.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and thanks everyone so much. I'm real grateful too. That's really the one that kind of got popular a little, so they want me to be promoting it, which is my month is, we call it the Fearsome 4. Are you ready? The Fearsome 4 are, number 1, it's Travis Gibbs' book coming out over with Orange Cone. That one's on Kickstarter, and I got a short story in it. It is a Water Wars 2288 short story. That's called Tales from the Collective Initiative. So head on over and check it out. Number 2, we have Call of the Cryptid launching on Kickstarter now. It's a cryptid-based visual adventure. It's great for all ages. You'll love the science fiction. Number 3 and number 4, I got Planet Comics number 19 and number 20 coming out from Antarctic Press. That's my pal Ben Dunn over there. They're doing a great job keeping it's science fiction in front of the masses. So those are my titles I'm promoting. Thanks, Phil, of course, for giving me a chance to say it on the air. And that's I'm just real grateful that people are following the stories. Again, I'm as surprised as you are, right? Like, I didn't know any of this was going to happen. And here we are. It's the 6th Kickstarter. There's 11 titles. I was telling the guys I'm doing fulfillment here for number 4 this week. And that's trading cards now go to 19 countries.
Oh, wow. You've arrived.
Nice.
I mean, you're there. I mean, good Lord.
Well, you're all very sweet. You're very sweet.
Oh, that stuff, that Water Wars, I love that. You got the I don't know if you've got one on you to show, but the chromium, you got that chromium.
Yeah, I sure do. This is what went out in the fulfillment today, which is what they call a printable hollow foil, and you're going to be seeing quite a bit of this coming up with the cryptid book. I guess one thing I would tell you guys, I sort of learned a little bit the ins and outs of what you do on these various chrome enhancements. and the separations and things you can do. So you're going to be seeing some cool stuff. The new book's got a couple of UFO sequences. So we're doing some stuff where like the beam is going to be embossed into the chrome. It's going to look really sci-fi and cool.
And I love it. I love that cover. I love that cover.
Now, speaking of loving covers, and we've been talking about, some of the creatives on here and stuff, we're going to get to the Todd Father now and some of his role, what he has within the comics and everything. However, I want to bring up, because I was not even aware until tonight that the Todd Father has a cover of his own on here. Nice. Yeah, y'all heard me that correctly on that one. So I'm going to show this while we go ahead and discuss about what he does and everything, because this is absolutely cool. I mean, I love skulls as is, and that definitely does it right there.
Wow.
Tom, let us know, how did you come about with this? How did this fall into your lap with this one?
This I'm going to give credit to our group, and like I'm going to preach it when we leave here. Comic Fanzine, or Fanzine, however you want to call it, that's our group. And I want to tell you something. Those guys there are like it's a brotherhood. It's Dale, it's Caesar, it's me, it's Pac-Man. It's the whole group that brought us all together. And this, without Dale, kind of, pushing some stuff, I wouldn't have probably, done a book on my own like this, because I think he's done a few, and we're working with some other people, but fixing to launch a book of us together, not as just like the Todd Father or Culinary Comics, but as our group Comic Fanzine. But this here was kind of dropped in my lap with Dale, because he was like, I'm good friends with Tyler J. Haddix, who's an awesome artist. Kind of came up with an idea. He said, let me show you a rough sketch. And he said, we're gonna send this off. This Ferryman series has just took off. It's a great read. If you haven't read any of it and you hadn't seen any of it, you got to go out there and get this. And just his writing alone, his artwork, I mean, just look at the detail. And there is, talk about cryptic. That's the full cover. On the back, we didn't really promote ourselves and say, okay, this is from this guy and this is from this guy. We kind of left that away from the publishers, because we put a little Easter egg in there. If you go in, you can't really go into it till you have the book in your hand. That coin in there that's in the mouth of that skull says Todd Father on it. So, I mean, we've just kind of, we want to do something cool, something different. Love the skulls. Everybody's kind of done a skull, but this here, I think he's took it over the top. And like I say, Tyler J, we've got a host of artists and different writers that we've had on our show. And I tell you what, this here has been a success for me and a success for the group. And we're just excited. And, we've got Chelsea. Yeah, there's a signature up there. Chelsea that's been in here, that's been commenting. You guys, you need to friend her. This woman here is a painter. She's an artist that is like no other. I'm not here just to promote me. I'm here to promote her. I'm here to promote our group. I'm one of these guys. Hey, it's not about me. It's about us, the collective. And I like everybody that I've got to meet in here. From Timothy, me and Christie have known it. Well, we know each other because we've been on the show before. Jonathan, you with your wife doing your stuff, your family values, the stuff you're doing. I mean, it's just, I love it. I'm into this stuff. Everybody that's had something tonight, I've seen something that y'all done or been around something y'all done, and it's great to be involved in this. And I want to thank Phil, because we've been friends a long time. We've had him on our show, to give Caesar shit. And if you want to do a book, get a picture of Dale. He does look like Sasquatch or the Bigfoot, or we can do one of those.
I want a quick mention. I'm real grateful for the people that do podcasts and do fanzines,
yes,
and who do the critical work of how does the message get to the audience, right? It's a hard question, and we need that now more than ever.
Well, the reason we do it, because everybody knows the alphabet, the Marvel, the DC. I'm an independent guy. I'm the guy that goes into the shops and says, hey, where's your weird stuff? What they would consider weird, what I consider cool. And that's where I float to, if it's from Demon Bitch, from Water Wars, and then to recount.
I appreciate that a lot.
Homage cover. But I mean, I love that stuff. That full cover you've got, Tim. I tell you what, the rest of your books, that right there, people, I will say we did our Hall of Full. I like yours better. I like that. It's just, it bursts. You know what I mean? I like what I've done. But
I got these two. I can show you. Like I say, I'm doing fulfillment here in my kitchen. That's why these things are right at hand. We also now are going to offer these laser engravings. They're wood etchings.
Oh, check this out. Oh, my Lord.
Oh, wow.
Wow. See, look at that.
There's two. There's two. Hold on. Here's the new book. This is the cryptid book, and there's going to be one. There's going to be a set of 5 of these.
Geez,
if you can look, it has a little bit of like a stain.
It does. It's like an overlay. I mean,
I got this one. This is the last one.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, wow.
Now, I like that one. That would be. I like them all. I'm gonna have to get them. That's just it. Just get them and have them. You know, for my collection. I have my own PC, and my own PC is weird. I'll just tell you. You know what people would call.
Thank you, Chelsea. We're trying some new things, and I was telling these guys in this group too that we have to keep trying new things for collectors. And Bret, you said you're a comic collector too, right?
Yes, sir. I've been doing it for 35 years.
What's some of your favorite things to collect?
Well, Bud Roots. I'm a big fan of his. Cave Woman. I've sat with Frank Frazetta at a convention when he was alive. I mean, he was. And then I've met, people. I tell you what, a couple real quick stories. We were at the Dallas Sci-Fi Convention, and Neil Gaiman walked in, and I was like, wow, he's from overseas. And I see him with a 5-gallon bucket. He's carried in a 5-gallon bucket with nothing in it. Then I see him pouring ice and pouring some water, and I'm like, I don't know if they know this, but we've got concessions out here. We can go get a soda, we can go get water. He had a line so far out, it was crazy down there. What he was doing was soaking his hand. He was signing so many autographs. He was putting his hand in that ice water to get the swelling down. I went over and talked to him about it. But stuff like that, from Neil Gaiman to Bernie Wrightson. I mean, just the like I said, Bud Root and different things from Cave Woman, and just some the oddities that nobody else picks up on. That's what I like. And I appreciate you asking me that, Tim, because I do have certain tastes, like with Vampirella and Lady Death, and just that theme. It's independent is my deal, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep. I'm right there with you.
Now, leading into the finale of the show and everything tonight, because I would keep y'all up here all night long if I possibly could.
Yeah, you sex fiend, you.
It's kind of funny. As sick as I am, I somehow did another art piece, which was hilarious.
That's it.
Well, it's actually posted up on my Instagram. Let me give it to Phil. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Okay.
No, we like that. That's what that's the reason I ask you that, because I know I can tell the way you talk. You doodle, and you got to stay busy to keep that mind creative and juice flowing. And I love it.
Well, and also it's either feeling like shit and being like, oh, I'm fucking sick. Like,
I'm glad to see you're here, Christie. When I saw your name on the thing, I was like, oh, sweet, it's Christie.
Yeah, here, let me give that to you, Phil. Sorry, they switched some shit around on Instagram. I'm posting it right now because it's like a thing that I'm fucking around with. But here's my Instagram, so you could take a look at it. It's just to the post itself.
Jonathan, homage cover. I'm sorry, Jonathan. I've got a bad cough. I haven't been feeling well either, but I'm just,
I think the cure for your cough is at jonathanhedrickcomics.com.
I'm going there.
Jonathan, your books look great too. I'll check them out.
Thank you so much. Likewise, Tim. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. I've heard of you before, and I'm familiar with some of the titles.
Thank you. Yeah, same. And I've been in that a previous Tales from the Collective anthology too. So that's a great man. What they're doing with that and getting people to check out 4 different new stories and different creators it's a great concept. So I'm glad to see that you're involved in that.
Yeah, they seem like a nice bunch, and I'm lucky in the sense that that's one of the things I was going to try and do also this year, was to submit to more anthologies.
Mm-hmm.
And then like right away I got a yes. I was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah. Check that one off the list, right?
Yeah, right. I'll do something better. Oh wow,
that is so
That's
cool.
the one you're talking about, right, Christie?
Cool. Yeah, I just did it just now. I had it in my head. Nice. So the concept of this is Hun. You probably saw it in correct connection with Korean people. It's like Hun. It's actually called Hun, but it's like this rage that everybody's built up for centuries being fucked with a lot. Because the thing is that Korea's stuck between China and Japan. So there's a lot of that noise about that shit. So I just like had this idea in my head. So I just started drawing it and everything. So
very, very, very talented. I mean, just
Cool.
amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate
Now,
it.
leading up to the end here, the one thing that I want to say, kind of leading up before I'm going to give you all full screen on here, is tonight's show has really been about the footprints. And what I mean by that is there's been footprints that each of y'all have left leading up to today. They may have brought people like me onto this. It may have been where, you know, Christie and Todd Father met up on shows or previous engagements like that, where Timothy has been on other things that he's gotten other creatives on there that have led up to where he is now. Jonathan, you starting off where you were and then leading up to getting on with Scout and other, you know, companies on there and building up your name, and now in Diamond all over the place.
Yes.
And in stores. So you're definitely making all that happen because of the footprints that you left. So I want to go ahead and say that the closing statement that I want to put on here before I give you all full screen is, if anyone that's watching this right now or watching this later on thinks that you don't have what it takes, then you're not leaving the right footprints.
That's right.
Those are the footprints where you're actually traveling backwards. You don't need to be doing that. You need to be traveling forwards. You may stumble. You may have some footprints where you'll see a handprint or something where you actually fall and pick yourself back up. But that's the key, is pick yourself back up. And every one of these creatives have shown that that is possible, and they keep doing that. Christie especially, because she's here and she's sick, and she still wanted to do the show. She did not, you know, cancel out or say that it wasn't going to happen or anything. So I definitely give her props on that. But everyone that's here, I definitely have amazing respect for you as is. But the further you go along with this, I almost think of y'all as mentors for things that are going on, where I'm actually building mine and starting to get my name out there slowly but surely as well. So there are things that I've taken from some of y'all that I've learned from and that I've kind of absorbed going through that I'm moving forward with. And I'd like to see even more people doing that and working together on doing that as well. And that's why I want to say thank each one of y'all for being there, for being the people that would actually reach out and say, this is what I have to offer. This is what we can do if we work together as a community. Not being the people where you're just sitting there going, I'm sorry, but these hands are too rich to touch any kind of, you know, peasant people out there. There are a lot of people in the industry that do that, unfortunately, and none of these people that are up here right now do that. And I certainly appreciate y'all for that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks for having me on the show, man. Seriously.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Now
Yeah,
we're going to
thank
go
you.
ahead and go around, and we're going to do full screen on this. I'm going to go ahead and do it in order here. So we're going to start off with Todd Father on here. He's going to let you know why you need to go ahead and go over there and start following what they've got going on with Comic Fanzine and everything over there. Just be mindful that Dell is over there too. You just have to put up with that. But the other part of it's good.
Oh, he's great.
There you go.
I want to tell you on Facebook, it's just BRETTODD, Bret Todd. I am the Todd Father. I got that name years ago. It stuck. You can see on my wall. I'm a big time collector. Like I said, I've got, you know, a massive collection, and I'm a hoarder. So I'll just go ahead and say it. But Phil, I just greatly appreciate you for bringing me on and putting me in front. Like I said, me and Christie, we've met before. It's great seeing her again. And I want to applaud her for what she's done and what she's accomplished. And she's coming in jet lagged, sick, and multitasking as we're just talking. She's working along. So I'm just amazed at her and impressed with her. Timothy, I'm impressed with you too. I'm impressed with what you've done. These books, this is what I live for. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you what, Jonathan, I'm headed there here in a little bit. We're going to be looking at some stuff, but I would like to have you guys all on our show too, because this community is just, it evolves. And that's how we got together. And with Del Guzman and Cesar Morales, myself, and then we've got Pac-Man, we've got other people that are, involved in it, but we're the front guys. It's me and Del, and then Cesar, and then Pac-Man shows up. It's a great show. Like I said, it's every Wednesday night, Comic Fanzine, however you want to say it. We come on around 8:15 Central Time. I live in Oklahoma, so it's Central Standard Time. Go do the math, go do the clockwork, however you want to do it. Come see us. You're going to see a lot of these faces, but you're going to see a lot of new faces. You're going to see a lot of things being done this year in the comic industry, and we want to be behind it, and we want to promote it like Phil. So thank you, Phil, for having me on, and thank you guys for all being so kind.
Hey, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
been my pleasure having you on here. It's been something I've been wanting to do for quite some time, but I've been trying to make sure that I have you on a good panel where you're able to fit in and be able to meet some new people who you could have on your show as well. Because I don't want to always have the same people that you do. Because we, like you said, we all work together to try to get some networking done. And I was hoping that would be done tonight as well. Now, Jonathan, I'm going to give you full screen on this one. You got to let them know why not only they need to follow you and follow your work that you're doing and go to your comic book stores and order your books or get them off the shelves, but they need to go to your website as well, because that is very important to go over there. So let me give you full screen and let them know why.
Yes. Again, everyone, my name is Jonathan Hedrick. My website is jonathanhedrickcomics.com, where you can find an updated list of my signings at cons and in shops. I also have a web store there, so if you're missing out on any particular covers or homage covers that you might like, I might have it for sale there. It's also a great place to hub to find my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, my email newsletter on Substack. I also have links to my publishers' websites where you can purchase directly from them copies of Recount at Scout and Space Cadet, or Dream Master at Black Box Comics. So, speaking of Dream Master, issues 1 through 3 are already out in stores, and 4 and 5 are going to be coming out soon in the next few weeks. So please go to your local comic book store, ask them for Dream Master. And in May, I'll have 2 series coming out. One is Capable, my superhero series from Advent Comics. And then Quicksand #1 is coming out in May through Scout Comics as well, which is a really cool sci-fi monster horror series. So if you dig that kind of stuff, you're in for a treat. Thanks again for having me on, everybody.
Awesome. And I'm definitely looking forward to that. I need to get a hold of Quicksand as well. I just thought about that. I forgot to bring that one up, but I'm glad
it's okay.
You did.
So enough titles brought up, so I appreciate it.
Your resume has just got too much in here.
I'll follow it. I've heard of a couple of these titles. I'll follow it.
Thank
you.
Oh,
yeah. Definitely. Christie, I'm going to give you full screen on this. Go ahead and let us know why they need to get over there and follow you with not only Demon Bitch as your main IP over there, but follow what you're doing with your other stuff, because you're coming up with some new things that are out there and getting some new blood out there, shall we say. I know you're going to make a fun joke out of that somehow, some way if you weren't sick, but we'll let that one slide right now. But let me give you full screen and you can go ahead and let them know.
Well, right now I'm working on Horror Studios. I'm working on the 2nd volume of Sepulchre. I'm going to be, I'm almost done with a graphic novel for Demon Bitch, I think the 5th book, and it's going to be called Pen_is here, because it's a joke of like pen 15, you know, we all know what that is. So I did that so I could sell it in stores. So the Kickstarter should be coming up in a month or so. I still have to get things together and kind of finalize what I'm going to put in the Kickstarter, but we're working on a couple of other bits of swag in there as well. And I think I'll be at Boise, Idaho at Gem State Comic Con, and that's Expo Idaho. So I'll be there next weekend. So looking forward to it. I actually like Boise. It's kind of a nice, quiet place. I'll be there with Mog Park. She's the official concept artist for Game of Thrones. So she'll be out there at her first visit with me. And that should be it for now. I mean, just always check on my Linktree, if you know what that was, Horror Studios, like my title down here. And you could see the new shit we've been doing. I've also started a production company with Philip Knox. And it's going to be called Kumio Productions. It will not have Demon Bitch on there. That's completely mine. But we will have a few collaborative things in our LLC right there. So stay tuned for that.
Nice. And just let everyone know that you don't have to memorize everything that's going through here. We're not going to have a test afterwards. All of these links are actually embedded in the feeds, made it very simple for you. But before you jump over there, we've got one more to go to. Timothy, go ahead and let us know. We're going to give you full screen. They got to know where they got to find your books for one thing, but where they got to find your shows for another, because these shows are awesome.
Okay, I do have a couple of shows coming up. I'm going to be in Harrisburg in April, and I'm going to be, the big one for us is the Baltimore Comic-Con. That's in September this year. So you can look for us there. We'll have a double table, and we'll be making a big splash. But the big thing for right now is, first, it was great to meet everybody, and best of luck with all your respective projects. I know we're all in kind of the deep water. Right now I'm promoting my Furious 4 which is the first thing I got Travis Gibbs' book over at Orange Cone. That is the Tales from the Collective Initiative. It's on Kickstarter now. If you're so inclined, I have my next solo project coming up. That is Call of the Cryptid. That's in its pre-launch. That is a cryptid-based visual adventure. You're going to love it. It came out great. And the next two, I'll be in Planet Comics 19 and 20. That's, of course, coming out from our pals over at Antarctic Press. So if you'd like to follow my work, that would mean a lot to me. It'd be just terrific.
Yes.
Well, we're definitely going to be doing that for certain. The one thing I want to let everybody go ahead and leave off with is the two hashtags that I always use on every show. I'm going to keep doing this on every show because they're starting to catch, which is great because they need to. Number one, Voice of the Indies. That name was given to me by Larry Higgins of Niobe Comics. He gave that name to me because of my shows and everything. I declined it just simply because I don't feel that the Voice of the Indies should be a one-person name. It is a conglomerate as far as I'm concerned. It is a conglomerate of everybody working together to increase that Voice of the Indies. One person yelling at the top of the mountain, and somebody may hear it in the echoes down below or whatever. You get a whole group of people yelling at the top of the mountain, that mountain's coming down on somebody, and they can't, help but hear about it. So Voice of the Indies is one of the hashtags. The other hashtag, which is probably the most important one that I'm pushing right now, is hashtag Power the Finger, the correct one if you can. Hit that share button and get things shared out. Not everybody can financially support everything that's out there. We don't know a Gates in every single part of the community that's out there that can support everything. But it costs you absolutely nothing to use the power of that finger and hit the share button and get these things shared out there. And more importantly, reach out to your creatives and let them know what you think of their work. If they're doing a great job, let them know. If they never know if they're doing a great job and they only see dollar signs, they're going to start living as if it's only dollar signs. If you start letting them know that this is something that actually hits you in the heartstrings somehow, some way, whether it be just something visually impactful and an action, or I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there with capable, the way that it hit and everything with that. If I never would have let Jonathan know about that, he might have looked at it like, okay, the series did okay, but I'm not sure I would tackle something like that again. Who knows? Right now, he may be thinking in the back of his head, I got some ideas for something else that'll really floor you. So just use that out there. Use the power of the finger to go ahead and reach out, get with the creatives, know what's going on, and mainly share out there and share everything that's available, because no one needs to sit on everything that's out there. We can all share everything. There's plenty of room for everybody. I want to thank all of my guests. I want to thank the Todd father, Jonathan, Christie, and Timothy for being my guest on tonight's show. We had a hell of a time on a hell of a show, and we're going to go ahead and shut this thing off with one of my favorite things I love to say. Y'all have a good evening, and keep it indie, y'all.
Let's see.
I hate that. Sorry. This.